Hey all, it's Aaron, and today I'm going to be playing some Minecraft. Going to bring on enchantments today, that's the plan. And yeah, I'm playing on my peaceful survival world, on the infinite snapshot of Minecraft, and it's gotten to the point where I am ready to get my tools and stuff enchanted. So I do also want to decorate the room where I'm going to be doing the enchantments, but I might not get around to doing that today. Because yeah, I haven't really done enchantments before, so I'm sort of figuring things out as I go. It's a bit of trial and error, and so the goal is to get pretty much all my gear to have the mending enchantment, and I also want to have efficiency, and then I want to get a pickaxe that has silk touch and a pickaxe that has fortune. The silk touch is kind of required to be able to mine an end chest, otherwise you just get obsidian from them. So yeah, once I have silk touch I can go and get some ender chests, which will be very cool. If you break an ender chest without silk touch, you just get obsidian. Well, it actually turns out that makes it a very easy way to get obsidian, but anyway. So I kind of didn't really like the dimension on the other Avenger. It was where I was getting the black and white concrete, but I found other dimensions over the time that are even better for that purpose. So that black and white one, it's too easy to fall down into the void. And so I switched that portal to this dimension, which is where the end chests are. But that's just temporary. I'm going to switch it again after this. But for now, I just wanted to have a look at the dimension and get some obsidian, because yeah, I may need to make some more portals. There's specifically a dimension where basically all the ground, like below the surface and stuff, is nether quartz. So I was thinking of going there to get experience, because the XP farm I made, that doesn't give you like tons of levels, so it's probably cool for something like repairing your tools and stuff if they have mending, but I don't think it's gonna be able to get me up to the high levels I need to actually do the enchantments in the first place, because that's like 30 something levels. So I thought probably the easiest way to get the XP is just to farm nether quartz, and you know, I can time lapse it and stuff as well, so it's not going to be that boring to watch, because it's not going to take up as long for you as it does for me. So yeah, I'm just like kind of worried about falling off the edge, so that's why I'm like trying to put down cobblestone and stuff. And it also helps for the blocks that you breaking not to fall down into the void, which can happen sometimes. But yeah, I think that's enough obsidian for now, so I'm gonna head back. And yeah, this dimension is a little bit laggy. You might notice freezes now and then. But yeah, got the obsidian. And so now I am going to go to another dimension. And yeah, it's also like kind of just a whole random bunch of characters to put in as the password. Because yeah, so it's not like some of the portals have like names or words as their password. That's like how either Easter eggs or people have guessed them and it got something cool. But then the other way to do it is to just like try things over and over, like every single possible character or whatever, and then come up with a list. So yeah, when you do that, then it's kind of just random characters and stuff. So yeah, I wanted to make like a bit of a stairway up here, just so it's easier to traverse in future. But the point of this dimension is just to get books, because they have like, it's kind of like a nether type dimension, but obviously there's chiseled stone bricks on the top of the surface. There's like jack-o'-lanterns below the surface, and then there's like basically bookshelves as netherrack, or below the jack-o'-lanterns, I'm guessing. So yeah, so if I need any of those things, or polished andesite stairs I guess, then I can come here. But for now, all I need is books, because I gotta make bookshelves to put around the enchanting table to unlock like the higher level enchantments and stuff. So yeah, it's a pretty cool stairway, I think. Kinda just used the stairs that were there. Now it is time to go and grab some books, and I was getting a bit of lag here as well, so it's a bit jittery. Apologize for that. I think part of the reason why it's laggy is like you might just need like a really strong computer or something to not have lag on some of these dimensions, and my computer's not super powerful, and when I'm recording I've got like the game, the server and the recording software going, so yeah, that's a lot of memory requirements. Also wanted to mention that if you like any of the music that I'm playing, check the description for a link to the artist. It should tell you which artist it is at the bottom of the screen, and I'm trying to use artists that allow for you to use the music royalty free, so like Creative Commons, that kind of stuff. So I think it's cool if you can support them as artists over artists that have all rights reserved and make sharing stuff a bit annoying. It's like you're never gonna get a, although the plan is like, if you played a clip from my videos or whatever, that clip you played wouldn't get copyright claimed or anything, because I'm not using music that gets copyright claimed. But that, I don't think that's actually gonna happen. It's just, that's my philosophy in general for like, just, I'm over copyright laws, and yeah, if the law is gonna be used in such a way that you can't listen to music without being liable, then I'm not gonna listen to music that does that. And even if I'm not in public or whatever, you know, it's still like, how are you gonna know what music you like, which artists you like who aren't using copyrights? The only way you're gonna be able to find that and know which artists you want to listen to and stuff is if that's what you're doing. Like, if you're listening to artists who have like strict copyright protections and stuff, and it's just less time you're going to be spending listening to artists who have Creative Commons, so there's less time you'll maybe get bored of them and look for another artist, or when you go looking for another artist you're going to, you know, not look in general. If you are trying to find, you know, artists you like who are, yeah, basically, I guess you could say it's like an ideological thing, like have like an ethical problem with copyright laws and stuff. But anyway, so I need to clear out some space. I grabbed like a whole bunch of different blocks I thought might be interesting to use in decorating the enchanting table space, but I got to clean out like the space first. So yeah, I wasn't sure where I was going to put it. I started off thinking maybe I just put it next to the nether portal here, but then as I thought about it, I realized I might want to have it a little bit to the a little bit further out, just so there's more space and stuff. And so yeah, I decided to set up a beacon because it's going to be quite a big space I need to excavate, so it's going to be a lot quicker to do it with a beacon than without. But yeah, I'm still sort of getting used to beacons and stuff. Like, I haven't used them before until this series, so I always underestimate how big of a gap you need for them. So, because you need like, well, if you're going to put two beacons next to each other, you need 3 wide, 4 long on the top layer. And then you need 3 more layers below that that are each one bigger than the last. So the music today will mostly be drum and bass. I thought it was about time I added some of the drum and bass music to my playlists of music that I know is safe to use on YouTube and stuff. Obviously I won't know for sure until I upload the video and see if I get any content ID hits, but according to the licensing that shouldn't happen. If it does, I just keep note of that so that I don't fall for it again with that particular artist. They should just license their music properly, but that doesn't always happen. Kind of get ranty when it comes to copyright laws, so I'm sorry if I sound like a stuck record. But yeah, that should be big enough for the beacons, but obviously they do need to have line of sight to the sky, and so I'll have to dig up through the ceiling above where they're going to be, and fortunately they go through transparent blocks like glass and water, so it's not going all the way from, basically we're at Y11 right now. It doesn't have to go all the way up to surface level, just up to the ocean floor basically. But I'm gonna get some glass and I'm gonna stain the glass blue and then use that on top of the beacons just to keep the water out basically, and yeah, just because it looks kind of cool, I think, to use colored glass now and then. I do need to, come to think of it, I need to make a bunch of either yellow or orange. I'm thinking maybe orange stained glass, because I want to put a layer of glass above the lava in the nether room, because I keep dying. I think I might die in, I don't know if I die in this episode, but maybe in the next one, we'll see. But yeah, at some point I need to do that. Okay, well, now I just got a mine up into the water, and I fell down, which kind of sucks because it's like so dark in here. There we go. Although I'm pretty sure there was some gravel that fell down. So I'm actually gonna go the other way around because it takes a long time to break blocks underwater and you're almost out of breath already when you go down this far. So I thought it's better I just go back from the bottom and not have like a lot of, like, both sides basically closed off. Just felt dangerous. But yeah, there we go. 2 beacons activated, and I just need to set which boosts I want once I've got the water to stop running down. Okay, that looks pretty cool. And obviously it's gonna be haste and speed. The speed helps when you're walking around more, haste helps when you're actually mining. I was thinking maybe of, speaking of crafting, yeah, I was wondering if maybe I should like change the name of this YouTube channel, because it's kind of generic and there's like a whole lot of other channels with the exact same name. So if I try to search for my own channel, like, it's even difficult. So yeah, that might happen. Still gotta think of what to call it, but I thought if I'm gonna do mostly like Minecraft based content, I could call it like Aaron Crafts. Might be cool. I mean, I do also maybe want to do other games, but yeah, I don't know. Not right now, anyway. I don't really need the diamonds, but it's just instinct, I guess, to mine diamonds when you find them. But yeah, now that I've got the haste set up, I'm going to be able to clear the space. And obviously it's time-lapsed, so it doesn't make too much difference on this end, but it does make a difference on the side of actually playing. And yeah, that's gonna take a while to do, so gotta get on with it, I guess. Well, I thought that what I would do is, if I needed anything to talk about, I'd have a look at Twitter and pick something from there. So at least I don't sit around thinking like, what should I talk about? Because I could just go on like what I feel ranty about or whatever, but I feel like that's just gonna be like copyright laws and stuff. Okay, I guess I can talk about that a little bit. I don't know if you've ever heard of someone called Aaron Swartz. But basically they were, he lived in the USA, and there was some research being done at universities there that were like public universities, so the research was paid for with taxpayer money. And then they had like the research papers, like all the research that the taxpayers were paying for. If you wanted to actually see the papers, it was like behind a paywall and stuff. But if you were a student at the university, then you could use, you know, you had access for free. You didn't have to pay whatever. So what Aaron Swartz did was basically, as like a form of activism, they downloaded like as many of the papers as possible and shared them online. And basically the government in the USA like tried to come down on him so hard that he was being told he'd spent 50 years in prison, etc. And yeah, then he died. I think it was suicide, but I mean, he already like didn't really have the best mental health, you know, as a person. I mean, I don't really trust people who are like super mentally healthy, because it's like, how is this world not fucking up any more than it is? Like, people are like totally mentally healthy in the fucked up world, then that to me just means that they're a bit fucked up. But yeah, if you're being threatened with 50 years of prison for doing something ethically right, you know, I don't think it should be legally wrong either, but even if it was legally wrong, a non-violent crime, like, I don't think anyone should go to jail ever for non-violent crimes. Like, if they are, I don't know, if they're like scamming tons of people and stuff, then, you know, you might want to have some kind of other way of doing it, like have someone check your phone records or something. Like, I haven't thought about this a lot. I'm not trying to come up with a good solution. I'm just saying that there are other alternatives to prison. You don't have to, it's not the only way to stop people from harming others in non-violent ways. So, but he didn't even harm anyone in violent or non-violent ways. It's literally just like, oh, people have been paying for this research, let them see what the results are. Nope, 50 years of jail for that, like, you know, what, yeah. So anyway, I don't think anyone should forget that, and you know, copyright laws kill. It's true in that sense, it's true in other senses too. And yeah, like, I kind of saw him as like a bit of a hero for all that, but you know, like, I was following it when he was arrested and all that, and then he died, and it hit me pretty hard. So I doubt anyone's gonna ever be able to change my mind that like copyright law is just completely unethical any way you look at it. Information which can be copied for free should never have penalties for copying it, because it's not theft, you're not stealing, you're not taking anything away, you're copying. It's like, it's illogical to make that illegal. like there's no material harm. And of course people say, you know, well, people need the copyright laws to make money, and it's like, so the law is there to determine which business models should succeed and which shouldn't, because the business models that require copyright laws to exist, like why don't we just let those businesses or whatever fail? You know, like if artists can't make money without releasing their music as Creative Commons or whatever, then let them stop making music, like whatever, we don't need you. There's people who are doing Creative Commons, and let them do it. We'll support them, we'll go to their gigs, we'll buy their merch, we'll buy their albums, but you know, you don't need these authoritarian copyright restrictions and manipulate the experience of reality in society, where like if you're going to a restaurant and the restaurant's playing a song, you can't capture a video of, like, let's say you're having your birthday party at the restaurant and they're playing music. You can't share that clip of you at the restaurant on social media because the song is copyrighted and then it's playing in your video that you uploaded. So now you copyright violated copyright. It's like, well, if we just kill the copyright, then it doesn't need to get violated. Why don't we just do that? Can't violate copyright laws if they don't exist. So yeah, I guess I can talk at length about that. The thing is, like, a lot of my opinions, I don't really like talking about them because people generally, I feel like in a way, like you could say the world is not ready for some of my opinions, because the problem with me is, like, if I understand a certain thing logically and then I can apply that logic to a certain other thing, then unless I have a reason not to apply that logic, then I do apply it. And other people like to compartmentalize things, and so if they understand the logic in one area, they don't necessarily feel obliged to apply it in other areas. So when you start applying it to those other areas that are not, this logic can be used on approved TM, then it becomes a problem for people, and they generally let you know how displeased they are that you've applied logic to this area that they haven't approved of logic being applied to. So, like, to give you an example, like, I consider the word autism to be a slur because it's like implying that it's a condition or that it's some kind of diagnosis or medical, you know, there's like the whole narrative that it's a disorder or that it's a disability. And the thing is, like, even people who are autistic often disagree. Some of them say no, like, you know, it is a disability, and if you don't agree to that, it's just because you think disability is a bad word, and if you didn't see disability as a bad thing, you'd be okay with. But that's not the case, because I am okay with the word disability, and I have multiple disabilities. For example, I'm colorblind. For example, I have sensory processing disorder. I have an eating disorder, and that one is probably the most disabling because it limits like literally what kinds of food I can eat, because like I physically can't swallow a lot of different kinds of foods and stuff. And there's like a lot of medication I can't take because the pills are too big and stuff. And I don't see it as a bad thing. Like it's not in my control. Why would I feel bad about something that, you know, is not up to me? It's just the way I am. The reason why I don't like people claiming that being autistic is a disability is because it's wrong. It's not what being autistic is. It's wrong information. It's giving off an impression of things that are not real, or that isn't what it really is. Because you can be autistic and have zero disabilities. Because being autistic isn't, you know, it's not a condition, it's not a disability, it's an umbrella term for people whose brains are different to neurotypical, or like what's expected, or like normal, or whatever. And also there's a heightened sensitivity to sensory input, which is like one of the things that is thought of to be a way of sort of quite a common, or like a common denominator type thing, but it's not always to a point where it's like disabling, you know. Like to some people it's like, oh, like they feel like they need to wear sunglasses more, or just don't like music as loud or something like that, but it's not like impairing their lives in any way or anything like that. Like, you know, you could even have someone who's autistic and doesn't have heightened sensory input as well, because they might just have other things that are considered to be autistic, like have a very strong attachment to structure, logical structure, or, you know, like structures that are not logical are very uncomfortable. But yeah, it's like it's a neurotype. It's not a fixed thing. But the real issue is that, like, it's not, you don't have to have any kinds of disabilities to be autistic. So the problem is that when people are claiming that it is a disability, the information that they're giving others is going to end up giving them the wrong idea, and then they're going to be like, well, you know, if it's a disability or a disorder or whatever, then that person clearly isn't autistic because they don't have any signs of any disabilities or anything like that. Meanwhile, that person could be autistic. And so everyone says, like, you need autistic awareness, you need autistic acceptance and all this stuff. Like, if people don't even know what it is, how are they supposed to be aware of it and accept it? They, you know, and it's important to know what it is so that you can accept all the different kinds that it presents as, not just the types that are coming with disabilities, but the types that aren't as well. Because they do still get treated poorly for it. They still get picked on and bullied and stuff, even though it's not maybe itself causing them any struggles. Society makes it a struggle for them by its treatment of them as being so unaccepting of, like, oh, jumped in the lava, fortunately it didn't die. But yeah, like, society treats you badly for it. That's not enough for something to be a disability on its own. Otherwise you get into extremely sketchy territory, because, like, society treats people who are queer very badly, but that's also not a disability or disorder or anything like that. Like, yes, society, the majority of people can be wrong about something, can have a bigoted view on something, and that doesn't make the thing that they have a bigoted view against a disability. So the thing that makes it difficult with being autistic is that because so many autistic people do have the disabilities, that's basically how it became more noticed in society, and then that sort of became how it was framed and thought about. And so now lots of people have the wrong idea because they they didn't notice, well, they didn't notice that people who were assigned female at birth or whatever also were autistic. Like, it took decades for them to even realize that. And then you still have today lots of like mental health or whatever, like psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, whatever, who think that you can't be a functioning adult and also be autistic. Like, if you've got a job, you can't be autistic. Like, that's the problem is. And then those people may even have disabilities, but even if they don't, it's like they do still have struggles because of being autistic. And yeah, you can have a job and have disabilities, you can have a job and be autistic, obviously. So yeah, people don't understand what it is, and that's why for me it's so important that I communicate my opinion on it, that but then I get like a lot of hate for it, so I don't tend to do it that often. Anyway, let's see how many experiences I get from that. A couple levels. So that would be fine to like heal up a weapon, well, not a weapon, a tool a bit. But yeah, I need to get to like level 30 or something for enchanting. So some enchantments you can't get from the enchanting table, and so I'm gonna have to go and look for those in other places. But I'll probably do that in the next episode. I'm just grabbing a whole bunch of wood because you need planks plus blocks to make bookshelves. So yeah, I think we need, I was also thinking like we need to have like autistic pride, because like people say that like queer pride is about accepting who you are, being proud of who you are as a person and being yourself and that, but like the queer community at large is not very accepting of autistic people at all, and so which is ironic because autistic people realize that they are queer at like much higher rate than neurotypical people realize that when they are queer. So anyway, the thing is like society also doesn't really get a vision of what being autistic is. Like if you had like autistic pride, because like you can have like obviously like your queer pride, and then people will go there and they'll just try to be themselves and express their identity or whatever, and then you get to see through like all the different people, like, oh cool, there's like a lot of people who are into this, there's a lot of people who like wearing this and that. You can just like get some kind of picture of what it's like, and like that's really helpful. Like with autistic people, most of the time we don't really have visibility of who we are, because even when like pop culture covers autistic people, it's either good representation without it being called autistic representation, or it's just bad representation, or like a character who, sure, there might be like a couple autistic people like that, but it's very unrelatable to almost every autistic person. But then non-autistic societies like, that must be what it's like because that's the one example they saw. So yeah, if we had like a way where we could show off who we are to the world, each individually but collectively as well, together, and give a better picture of what it's like, that would help to explain people, and they'd see that like, yes, there are a lot of us there who do have disabilities, and there's also a lot of us there who don't. And there's a lot of us there who like, you know, to have a whole lot of different colors and dress like quirky and stuff, and then there's a whole lot of us there who maybe like to dress more normal or whatever. Like, you know, it would give society a better picture of what being autistic is, and the word autism is basically reinforcing the problem, or like, you know, making the need for pride even more. Let's see what enchantments I can get. Oh, no, I need lapis lazuli. Doesn't take diamonds. And yeah, I mean, I guess like the, you know, the queer pride, like in theory, could be expanded to include autistic people, but I kind of don't think that's maybe a good idea because like there's already so many problems with queer community, let's just say the term LGBT or even the extended versions is kind of cringe to a lot of queer people. I'll leave it at that for now. And yeah, so one of my other opinions, I guess, that is like so controversial that I hardly ever talk about it, is just simply the fact that any body part is gender neutral, and gender is self-determined, and there are more than two genders, obviously. But when people say that they are binary gendered, it like really annoys me, because that is identifying as the oppression, basically. Because like that, I know a lot of people, what they actually mean is that they are orthodox gendered, where like it's the orthodox like conception of man or woman, but what the word they use instead of that is binary. And what binary means is that you only have two choices. So what they are saying when they identify as binary is that there are only two genders. And it's like, you could say, you know, I identify as binary, but it's okay for other people to identify as non-binary. What you essentially saying is, I'm identifying that I'm one of two genders, but it's okay if other people identify as being one, or identifying with other genders that aren't one of two. But it's like, but you just said you identify as one of two genders. You just said that there's only two. How can you be okay with people identifying as ones that aren't part of the two? So either they don't actually understand what it means when they say binary, or they don't think it's important to treat all different genders as equally valid. Because when you say binary, it could be any two genders, but there's two specific genders people are relying on you thinking of, and that's the cis privilege. And I don't think it's okay to just use cis privilege if, you know, like even if you're trans, you shouldn't be trying to use cis privilege. So yeah, there's just a lot of problems with identifying as binary, and I think even cis people should identify as non-binary, because you might be cis, you shouldn't have been identified a gender when you were born. Your parents and healthcare workers and whatever should have waited until you're old enough to choose for yourself. But if you did get assigned a gender and they happen to get it right, like, yay, you got lucky, like, but that doesn't mean it was binary. That doesn't mean there was only two choices. You can identify as cis and non-binary. There's nothing wrong with that. Because non-binary doesn't mean not cis. Non-binary doesn't mean not a man or not a woman. It just means that there's more than two options, that you're not one of two options. Even if you're one of the options that they used to be considered to only be two by society, now society considers it to be more than two, then why do you have to keep identifying as if there were only two? So yeah, identify as cis and non-binary if you want. I don't have a problem with that. I don't see why anyone should, but I do believe that there is an unending amount of hate for that opinion. So I just don't normally share it that much, but as far as I'm concerned, the logic checks out. So yeah. Let me check Twitter for an idea of what to say. I'm basically just going through a whole bunch of dimensions and I'm trying to find if I've already got one, I think. What am I looking for? I don't know. Let's look at Twitter. Someone on Twitter says, under communism, we would only have one kind of USB cable. I think what they mean is that we would have standardization, because I don't agree that communism, well, it wouldn't have any way of limiting the amount, because communism is stateless and classless. It's not a dictatorship or anything, despite what state capitalists claim. They claim to be communists, but obviously they're not. So actual communism is stateless and classless. There's no laws, there's no markets, there's no money, etc. So there would not be a way to stop there from being more than one, but there would also be a lot of good reasons to standardize, and the beauty of it is that it's up to people to decide. So if everybody's like, yo, I just want one cable that fits every device, then that's what the other people making the phones and all the other devices are gonna do, because they, you know, there's no profit motive. You'd only make stuff if you feel like it's gonna make, you know, the world better, if there's people who are going to be able to use what you're making. And if people are like, nah, I don't want your device, I'm going to use someone else's because theirs has the same connect as mine, you might be like, oh damn. So I think over time we will probably end up with some standardizations, but I think in some cases they might need to be reinterpreted from the beginning, because like there might be limitations to existing technology that you kind of can't, you know, maybe you don't have enough throughput or something. Like if we get like, you know, like we might need new USB cables if we went from electricity to photon electronics, basically, for example, or photonics, I guess you'd call it then. Oh, I was looking for a dimension that I didn't think I'd be keen on going back that much. And yeah, so this is the one where you can get the nether quartz. The only thing that's like so annoying about this dimension is how one side, or basically two sides of the blocks are completely black. well, I guess the bottom two, so 3 sides. So that makes it like kind of difficult to actually see what you're doing a lot of the time. But seeing as the only thing I'm going to be doing in this dimension is mining nether quartz, I'm not too worried about that. It's like, yeah, you can't even tell there's a crafting table under that chest. So I'm going to just go down into the ground a bit and mine some nether quartz. And yeah, you do level up pretty decently quickly, I think. It's not as quick as something like a mob farm. But yeah, mob farms are not exactly on the menu in Peaceful. So fortunately, the custom dimensions come through again, where Peaceful lets you down. Easy way to level up, just 1 dimension away. I'm already on level 24. I did speed it up a bit, so it's kind of tedious, but hopefully it's not too boring, seeing as I'm actually being able to get it done pretty quickly with the time lapse. And okay, I guess I just wanted to get up to level 30. Ice turned into water or something. Oh, I'm making a branch out. Okay, let's see what else Twitter says. Someone is talking about how cities are not designed for people to live in, basically. There's nowhere to sit down, there's not much shade, there's no public washrooms, you have to pay for water if you need water. Everywhere is surrounded by cars, and yeah, cars have like kind of taken over city planning. And one of the things that sucks the most about it is how it's kind of been transactionalized. Like, you know, if you want to go to like a restaurant or whatever, you got to go to a shopping center where there's businesses and stuff. With like, it's all been sort of privatized, you know. And yeah, if there's like, oftentimes there'll be like a park or whatever here, and you got to pay money to get into the bathroom. It's like the other day I went to the mall because we wanted to get some food and I needed to go to the toilet, so I tried and it needed money, so I put the money in and like turned the turn or whatever and then the door just didn't open. So yeah, it just basically took my money, plus I still needed to pee. So yeah, it's like, even like yeah, it's like everything's about money and becoming more and more so, you know. It's like you get parks where the park is like privately owned and then it's open like sometimes during the public, and it's like you like think like, yeah, that's a pretty cool park like when it's open, right? But then they close it for maybe like they're having like a concert or market or something, and they like rent out the park or whatever, you know. So when it's rented out, then it's closed to the public because it's not a public park. And then, you know, so then the problem is that like the town or the city or whatever, they're not going to build a public park near it because you've already got the park there, basically, from their thinking or whatever. But there's all these restrictions and it's controlled by a private entity and it's for profit and all this stuff. And yeah, So you know, you don't actually get the public park because the private park is there. And it just, you know, it just shows how capitalism is like, it grows and infects into all parts of our culture given enough time. And I don't think it's gonna get better unless, you know, we try to make it better. It's like I got Unbreaking, and like I only got one, which the one thing I kind of don't understand, and maybe it's just my own fault, but like sometimes you get more than one enchantment and sometimes you only get one, and I don't know what makes it the difference. Is it the fact that like there's some durability missing from it? That's why I only got one? Or is it just probability? It's like, but it uses like a whole lot of XP to, although to be honest, I might not be doing it the most efficient way. Because you can only just do like a level 1 and then disenchant it and then try again. Sometimes I've gone all the way to level 3 and then disenchanted it. But either way, like it uses a lot of experience. Anyway, hopefully like I get my gear sorted and then like it just stays with me and I don't lose it. And I don't need to go through all this again because it's a mission. Although I guess once I have like a whole lot of villagers and stuff, I could get like the villagers that trade you enchanted books, get a whole lot of them, and then use them to get enchantments instead of the enchanting table. But yeah, that's another big project that I'm not close to getting around to yet. I actually have started to plan out what I'm going to be doing in my videos. And according to this, I'm only gonna get there next year. Like, wait, let's see. Like, basically April next year. Yeah. But the first episode in November, if things go according to plan, I'm going to be having a world tour episode where I go through the world and show off everything that I've done so far and do a little bit better editing and all that kind of stuff so that it's, you know, a shorter video but more interesting stuff. And then I'll start to promote that video on the socials and stuff because I think it'll be pretty interesting by that point. But it's not gonna be anywhere near where I want it to be. But I guess it'll be enough done for a world tour, I think. So that's like 5 months away or something like that. Good, quite a long time to go before that. So hopefully I can get a fair amount of the space, at least like, you know, the starting part of the base. My starter base is basically going to take 11 months to build. Although, you know, I am building it relatively slowly because like I'm only playing on for like 4 hours a week. Just because like the rest of the time I spend editing and everything. Finding the music, I've got to do one round of editing to do all the time lapsing. Then I record the audio and try to find the music before I record the audio, and then I do another round of editing after I've done the audio to put everything together at the end. So yeah, that's takes time, plus I have my normal job, and also have not been feeling great physically. I'm starting to feel a lot better now, but been sick for a long time, which is really annoying. Because like, it would be cool to be able to do more videos, but also, you know, there's like more to life than Minecraft. I think once a week is like good enough for now, you know. Obviously, like, I'd like to be a full-time creator one day, and I'll probably do, if I was able to go full-time, I'd probably do videos like every day. Or it wouldn't, don't know if it'd be Minecraft videos every day. Maybe like 2 Minecraft videos in a week, and then like 2 Minecraft streams in a week. And then for the other 3 days, like other non-Minecraft stuff. Could be on other channels or other games or whatever, I don't know. But like, yeah, I mean, it's nice to have like daily content, but at the same time, like, you can get over if it's like not really that much to say. It's like you can get over it. It's like rather like skip a day and have the videos when you do have content like be more interesting, I think. I'm not super worried about like the algorithm and that kind of thing. Like, I do what I can because it does matter. So I have like, you know, titles, description, thumbnail, and I try to release the videos at the same time every week on the same day, etc. But I'm not like going out of my way to make the algorithm happy, you know. I'm not like worrying about length or what I say or anything like that. It's, you can worry about that. You can try to get the algorithm, but it's like you kind of end up like losing a bit of your play, I guess, because like if everyone is making content about some new feature that got released, it's like, you know, you got like, you don't, if you're lucky, you'll watch like 2 videos on the same thing. Otherwise you have to choose. It's like, I don't know, I'd rather like do my own thing rather than chasing the algorithm or whatever. So yeah, I don't really know how enchanting works, just so by the way, like, I wouldn't use my playing as the best example. But yeah, let's see what Twitter has to say. Well, looks like one of the lead witnesses in the case against Julian Assange has admitted to fabricating evidence in exchange with the deal. So yeah, that's pretty big news, I guess. Like, a lot of people have been saying that Julian Assange is sketch or whatever, and for a long time I felt that it was like, you know, not, it was fabricated, because like, out of anyone on earth, like, he threatened the power of the information agencies, like, because being able to expose, like, you know, the truth behind the policies and stuff is, it just makes the whole entire con the politicians try to play on the population, like fabricating, manufacturing consent, basically. It's the antidote to the manufacturing of consent, and the world really needs WikiLeaks type institutions, you know. I'm sure Julian Assange is not a saint or an angel, but at the same time, I haven't seen any evidence that, you know, justifies putting him in jail. Never mind time served. What is it, like 10 years, like over 10 years now. So anyway, I decided to dig a little bit more out here because I want to make a portal to that nether quartz dimension from here. Because like, if I do need to go and level up to get an enchantment, and it's just going to be a lot easier if I can do that like just around the corner type thing. And then yeah, not just cuts down on some of the time I'd have to go like missioning, walking to the other portal or whatever. I don't know, I think it's nice now and then to have like utility type portals. If it's like a specific, you know, utility type dimension, like I wouldn't want to have portals everywhere for dimensions that are more like exploratory. Like rather those be like, okay, you can either go here or there, you know, like the tunnel room or somewhere from inside the nether on top of the roof. I'll just sign the book with the correct characters, which I think it's that. And I'll go and get some more XP next episode and continue the mission to get some more equipment, or some more enchanted equipment at least. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.